there very, very shortly. My name's Hysterics, that is Lyric, and Top Esports RNG Lyric, our midweek, not match of the week, mid-season, middle of LPL split, good match.
Yeah, and you know, first of all, these teams went to 5 games. We remember that backdoor in playoffs, but
Lissandra?
I love that we're seeing this. So, if people don't know, I actually remember this very vividly for some reason. We saw Cryin pull this champion out numerous times in 2020 up against LeBlanc. It's, you know, an old school counter up against the LeBlanc, right? She doesn't really have any kill pressure on you. You can go, I assume you still probably go the Aftershock route where, you know, you're extremely tanky as well once you do lock people down with that W. So really interesting comp coming out from RNG. I like that they're putting their players on more comfort picks, right? We have Lissandra coming out. We have Kaisa for Gala. So the stock and standard, their composition wants to jump in. We know that very clearly with what they're playing. Yeah. For the side of Top Esports, it is more of that pick composition that we were seeing in the last series. And the other thing is, it does phenomenally from a range, right? Equalizer can be dropped out. LeBlanc's going to be constantly jumping in and poking like we saw Zika doing. Varus throwing out the long-range arrows. So this is, to me, what Top Esports did very well last year. Was they did a very good job of like baiting opponents into them and then finding really clutch re-engages which would allow them to take the fight. And I don't know how well it's going to do for them against a Nautilus and Lissandra, but we'll see.
I was going to say, I love the tools that RNG have though to, you know, endeavor against it, right? We see RNG, Top Esports onto the Rift, and folks, if this was 2020 or even, you know, you'd say 2019, this would be a match of the week no matter what, but RNG, Top Esports, as you can see on the top of your screens, they're not doing too red hot, and this series means so much for them. RNG, after coming back from MSI, 1-3. It's enough to take them off the global esports power rankings, which is just kind of rubbish. But RNG, we still look towards as the, you know, a big representative here in the LPL, and Top Esports the same. A team that went to Worlds in 2020, they didn't perform as to expectations, but they're still a top team within the LPL. So this is a banger that we're all lucky to watch. And Lyric, you already talked about the comps coming into this game as well, and I love that you did. You talked about the poke down potential here from Top Esports, but I just love that we have Knight on LeBlanc, something you and I saw at the MSS or the MSC when we went up against the LCK and Knight just showcased on it.
Yeah, it's even a champion. I remember last year going back to the spring playoffs, right, where it's Rookie and Knight trading LeBlanc and kind of showing what this champion was made of. But I'm more excited about the Lissandra. If anyone didn't miss us coming into draft, the fact that this is like a Cryin pocket pick, it is something he pulled out in 2020 numerous times into this LeBlanc pick, and it's something they're going to keep him comfortable on. So we're going to see that. They have a good matchup up on top side. We've seen that Renekton can win out in the isolated 1v1 up against the Lee Sin. And yeah, it's going to be a lot up to Xiaohu and Cryin, in my opinion, as we see a lot of heavy trading coming out in mid lane. For this mid lane matchup, it's very similar to a lot of other mid lane matchups with LeBlanc, right? You need to be able to dodge that E. If she W's in, you're able to use your W in response to trade back with more AAs. So, yep, but we're gonna see Karsa go for an early gank.
Can he get up here? Xiaohu has full fury in his bar. That's the biggest thing, as he gets flipped over by QingTian. Actually, he slices and dices in, flashes, gets a solo kill. And now Karsa's going to burn him down. I mean, that's just style points here for Xiaohu.
Yeah, really nice for him, right? Top Esports are the team dedicating resources to look for this play. You get the kill. Sadly, the wave it didn't look like it was exactly able to crash. So, yep, Xiaohu gonna burn his TP right away. But now Wei, knowing he can look for this invade towards the top half of the jungle because Karsa was taken so low, Xiaohu can very easily move over as well. Cryin would be able to follow, but it looks like he's quite low on mana, and even Knight would because it's his side of the map. So doesn't look like you're going to need to rely on any of that, though, because Karsa will take too long to get back on the map for this one. So overall, will just be a nice takeaway for Wei that does pretty much just come off of Xiaohu's outplaying topside.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just so nice to see confidence already at the start of this game. Xiaohu, someone, Lyric, you and I, we're going to do a bit of a segment on and focus as the shining light for RNG, despite all the chaos, despite, you know, bottom lane dying in the 2v2, question marks around RNG as a total. Jesus. Okay. I mean, Xiaohu definitely the shining light. I think we're dead on with that segment, Lyric.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams right now kind of feel like one-man armies, right? For the side of Top Esports, everyone has been watching know it's all about Knight. Knight has so many sick outplays, whether it's on that Silas in the base with the stopwatch and the Zanyas. He's a really cool Akali play that we were going to show, the Viego flank coming in where he's able to pick up numerous kills, but Cryin does have flash, also is E available.
Nice little glacial path there. Cryin does get tagged down by the Electro Harpoon, and Karsa overheats, so walks away. Remember that he picked up the kill, so even though he's behind in CS here, don't think of it as being down, the kill is more than enough going to make up for that as he clears away the Scuttle Crab as well. So 10 CS behind in the jungle, but again, the kill. Note the top side though, Wei's coming up. Xiaohu's already 20 CS ahead, and with so much damage, the wave building up, they're ready to dive, Lyric.
Yeah, both mid laners have TP. Knight's backing off to try to follow.
Good TP here to deflect the play. That's Knight moving up. The wave was already pushed in, so he won't miss much.
Yeah, Cryin going to be able to get a bit of CS back in that mid lane matchup where physically he's struggling a little bit. Again, the biggest kind of thing about this pick against LeBlanc is that LeBlanc's an assassin. She shouldn't have that kill pressure on you from your W, from your E, from being able to escape, from your ultimate. Also, a bit of praise for you. I'm surprised you actually remember Lissandra's ability names after probably not seeing her for a solid year.
Dude, I don't know why. I think Q's the only one I don't remember. Ring of Frost, Glacial Path, and Frozen Tomb. Of what I got in my memory bank right now. I forgot the passive. I think it's Frozen Thralls. But yeah, I used to play a hell of a lot of Lissandra because at some point she was just so easy for someone as bad at the game as I am. So nice to see her back in competitive play, to be quite honest with you. On the Lissandra note, I want to pull up that while you're setting up comps as well, one thing I just thought of is that Moonfall with Frozen Tomb, with Renekton, like everyone's ability to go in and set up that area, and it's not like the set comp we saw from BLG in the last game, but there is a lot of AoE ultimates that can set up RNG for success in corridors once again on the Rift.
I mean, even after, you know, you get some kills, right? You get the Lissandra passive coming out, those ice zombies running at you and exploding, so definitely a lot of potential there. We do see RNG trying to all in through the top side. It is their winning matchup, right? Mid, you do have some kill pressure, but we hit on earlier, the mobility of LeBlanc makes her very hard to lock down. And in bot lane, you have a winning AD carry and a winning support matchup, so we actually see top esports getting ahead. So RNG just going to keep all-inning on their strong suit. Not sure if Wei spots out Karsa. He does now. Karsa just going to get away.
Smites away just in case. Look at Xiaohu meanwhile. I mean, QingTian having the ride of his life up here. At half health, he'll be able to heal that back thanks to the Safeguard passive. Or at least second proc, excuse me. And Wei was, or Karsa, excuse me, was actually spotted up here, but Xiaohu doesn't seem to care. Got a control ward there as well, so he'll see him coming from a mile away. Just pushes, backs off, and might even take himself an early recall or contest for the crab.
Yeah, and I think Xiaohu knows, right? His jungler's on the top side of the map. He has dominance available. He would be able to buy enough time for Wei to make his way back over there. We are going to see Xiaohu try to start up this one. Wei's making his way over.
QingTian there as well. This is going to be a 2v2. LeBlanc even coming through. It is secured in the end by RNG. And they'll just back off as well. Cryin moving too, and now that he has 6, always a risk to face off. And the pick potential that comes through from Frozen Tomb, excuse me, is so much to deal with.
I feel like a big thing there is if Karsa would have had Smite, he would have just been able to take that Scuttle Crab off of the damage that Xiaohu had done. He didn't. Wei did have Smite. He's able to just walk up, take away that Crab. And now Karsa trying to play off the pressure that his mid laner does have, making his way up towards top side, trying to spot out if Wei is here, but at least going to find an angle around onto Xiaohu. Xiaohu doesn't have dominance anymore. They're
chasing each other, though, way behind him. Xiaohu with a full health bar. QingTian doesn't have his equalizers down. Now Xiaohu, no dominance you mentioned, but has the flash to follow up as TP to follow suit. Wei there as well, immediately with the Lunar Rush on top of Karsa. The moon's fallen, the prison down, and Wei now locked out without a key.
Karsa thought he was safe to walk into the enemy jungle. Knight's pushing in mid lane. He thought that his mid laner would be able to follow up. Didn't account for Wei actually, you know, cheekily being right behind him. Cryin still having his TP to where Knight utilized his earlier to try to cover for that dive. And RNG once again able to pick up another kill. And Xiaohu's leading this top lane continues to grow.
Early game's looking well, but Chain's corruption in the bottom lane gonna stop me there as Gala's getting doped. Killer Instinct doesn't matter. Knight's picked up the kill. They're gonna follow suit as Ming is now solar flared, flushed away from. And the IG skin here for Knight, giving him luck until the depth charge destroys him. Draw under the turret as well. It's gone wrong, Lyric. And Top Esports donate too.
Yeah, surprised that Wei was able to get here in time to actually answer. So RNG winning out on both sides of the map. At first, it looked good for the side of Top Esports. It looked like, hey, you know, we tried to make a play top while making a play bottom at the same time. I remember talking to, you know, former LNG coach, now G2 coach Nelson about, you know, a skill that not a lot of teams have is being able to successfully either make plays or ward off a play on one side of the map while making a play on the other. Probably not this example for you know, that concept, but Top Esports did try. They go on to Gala. We look at the minimap. Wei was already by his wolves, making his way down. Ming able to buy a lot of time, and Top Esports trying to dedicate their resources to kill him, especially when he procced his Aftershock. Seems like what gave time for this to happen. And then Ming hits 6. He's able to go with that depth charge to guarantee another kill as well. And I love it. We're on to the second series, but we're not slowing down in terms of the action.
6 kills, 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes. Expected to build up again. We have a Herald on the map that RNG have brought Ming around for. No depth charge available, so whether he stays or not is going to be a bit of a mystery. I think the biggest thing is that Wei now has 2 kills here on this Diana. The Hextech Alternator in inventory, 5 stacks to the Dark Seal. He's snowballing way ahead of the game. He even had a CS lead before those kills went over. So Wei's in a great position. Cryin as well in this Lissandra hasn't lost out too much. And Xiaohu's still dominating top lane.
Yeah, already buying the Mythic Hysterics, so
quick.
coming off his last base incredibly strong. Pretty much any skirmish that involves jungler, you know RNG will come out ahead, and Top Esports will probably have to try and answer somewhere else on the map. Only 2 amp tomes and boots for Karsa.
Yeah.
Karsa making his way towards the bottom lane. This has been his strong lane so far, right? We see JackeyLove and Zhuo 20 CS ahead. It was about 10, but after that last dive onto Gala, Gala missed a ton of CS and EXP, so they were able to push that one forward. With Dragon being up and his bot lane being their strong suit, seems like they want to keep looking for these plays here. And with Knight rotating, they might even go for the dive.
All right. Is Cryin able to follow in time? Is my next question up there. We see turret plating actually going down as well, so JackeyLove going to get gold no matter the play. As Knight now over the wall, Cryin sees the distortion, the space, I don't even know what you call that, the X distortion. Knight's going to go back over the wall and just challenge Cryin for a second, but there's the equalizer, Solar Flare, golden in time as Ming. Knight's jump back, Gala and low HP bar burning down. Knight just wants to go in, but JackeyLove takes it away from him as flashing forward for the Zenith Blade. Ming now caught out as well, giving Knight's LeBlanc some room. 2-1-0, Top Esports, this time the dive is a success.
And I love the creativity coming out from Top Esports. Looks like Wei might potentially drop Herald mid, but you know, that play, we saw this kind of like shifting back and forth between like keeping Cryin away and going for that dive, and we hit on the long range damage coming through, but Top Esports want to contest this play.
Let's see, Wei and Cryin both in melee ranges. Meanwhile, on the top side, kickback. I don't think that's going to work here, Lyric. QingTian going to be destroyed down, flashing forward.
Solo kill!
Again, Lyric, you talked about it earlier in rehearsal. Xiaohu picked up 4 solo kills in 1 series. Now he's already got 2 in game 1.
Xiaohu had no solo kills before he solo killed Nuguri 4 times in their last series, and it seems like he's riding a high of momentum since then. He wants to be king of the top lane. He's coming to challenge for the title. Can't wait to see him against Breathe on that note. But yeah, you know, really nice start from RNG. But this also goes back to something we were talking about during the last series, right? Is like teams being able to equalize on opposite sides of the map and find their own advantages so they don't fall too far behind. Because Top Esports have done a good job of doing that with this play. They kept going back and forth between stopping Cryin from coming in. But this is the long-range damage that Top Esports have available to their comp. Amazing equalizer coming out from Karsa. You're able to finish that off with Varus Q. Knight has to flash into close distance to be able to guarantee this last kill. But still, no complaints here. You pick up the 2 kills. You only further the advantage your bottom lane has. And sure, you might be down about 3k gold, but at least we're seeing signs of life from Top Esports in ways that their composition does want to fight and how it can be strong.
And I just love the interaction that I wanted to touch on before we saw the play. Chains of Corruption, Solar Flare, you know, the CC that comes out of the bottom lane, and why Karsa already loves the bottom lane, but it is so easy for them to set up for not only a dive, but a nailed down ulti duo / trio. That Chains of Corruption spread, and Gala almost died from just sitting in the fire for too long. So great to see Top Esports in action, but Lyric, I want to point your eyes towards the scoreboard. It's a 3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes for RNG because they got first turret blood with the Rift Herald mid. They got the turret up in the top lane for Xiaohu too. So the top side of the map is very open for RNG right now, and Wei is making use of it.
Yeah, now it's about how RNG uses, because, right, you have no top lane turret or mid lane turret to worry about. So what we want to see is them constantly push out and hover towards bot side. So RNG are already doing it now. Xiaohu's going to have push up top. He does not have to worry about QingTian. He already is Gore Drinker. He's even picking up Krug. So getting his lead further ahead, knowing that Wei isn't going to be on this side of the map anytime soon. And Knight maybe getting baited, has a lot of mobility though. So is able to proc the electrocute. Really nice trade coming out from him. But with the fact that RNG can now just start dedicating their members towards the bottom half of the map, it's going to make it really annoying for Top Esports to break down that first turret bot, which was their plan this whole time.
Maybe Karsa can impact that a little bit. Ming setting up for the potential dredge line. Wei now spotted out. Both junglers level 9, folks. And Dragon's not going to be here, so we're not going to see the fight around the objective. Instead, just over the wall. Frozen Tomb. They've caught 9. He thought he could distortion over, but Lissandra, what a great interaction we're seeing with the counter matchup.
That's one of the reasons you pick it, right?
Hell
He
yeah.
distortions over the wall. You use that W. He's now stuck. Can't go anywhere. You have so many other CC tools to lock him down. Sure, you have to dedicate 2 ultimates because Wade did use the Moonfall, but you get the pick. You get even more push in mid lane. Xiaohu is single-handedly just, dominating vision in the topside jungle, so he is totally safe. Cryi's pushing in, like, everything going pretty well for RNG. Up to a 4K gold lead at this point, and for TES, I feel like it's so hard losing your not only your top lane turret, but your mid lane turret in this situation, because RNG will always be able to move first. You will always be looking to make that counter punch. You won't be able to make the aggressive play yourself without losing something, right? Maybe Knight could try to leave mid. I don't think Cryin can do anything here. Yep, Cryin just gonna back off, but point is, right, maybe Knight can leave mid, say, hey, I'm gonna let Lissandra push out a wave. I'm just gonna path directly down towards bot and look for a kill on the Gala, or I'm gonna go look to help QingTian on the top side. But then you're opening up an avenue for RNG to push down your mid turret. Like, there's so many other factors into the decisions that top esports need to make that RNG definitely sitting pretty right now in terms of what they have available towards them. And just look at the vision game, right? You've opened up both turrets on the map. You're able to get vision in more spaces, and they can pretty much see everywhere that top esports is. And this is Xiaohu's jungle, dude. This quadrant is Xiaohu's home.
I was going to say, it means that,
Vision,
people like Xiaohu can
the jungle camps,
play around whatever he wants to play around. He has teleport available as well, and with Dragon coming up for Xiaohu, adding this top lane pressure into it as well, into top esports, if RNG back away, or if they play around this a little bit, they can abuse that time, they can abuse that window, they can abuse the information and trade it away without a worry in the world. But Dragon is coming up, and with one already over to top esports, RNG trying to get some vision deep into the enemy jungle thanks to Ming. They should have first take on this objective as a spawns.
I mean, right, we can see top esports aren't even going to look to contest this. Going to get control of top side. They have some wards coming down, but Xiaohu will still be up here to answer. They don't need to worry about that. Diving Xiaohu would be quite a tall task at this point with his item advantages, with dominance, with flash. And even Ming was making his way up towards topside just in case something happened. Having confidence that having Cryin down in bot, Gala in mid, and TP on Xiaohu being enough to pick up the Drake. So one Drake for the side of RNG, nowhere close to soul points, so we don't need to worry about any kinds of timers coming out. And when you have teams like top esports and RNG on the Rift, let's be honest, we're going to get to the 20-minute mark, and one of these teams who's ever ahead at the time, you expect it to still be RNG, is going to have the confidence to bait the Baron, look for those plays. And RNG especially, it was one of their like defining factors at MSI in the spring. RNG were one of the best teams at like knowing how to play around Baron, knowing when to turn, knowing when to bait, knowing when to burn, and like who should be standing around zoning, who should be off, maybe hiding in a brush looking for a cheeky flank angle. So my gut tells me the game will be decided. Oh God, JackeyLove!
Okay, sorry, what were you saying? Because Gala's dead now.
You know what? Munch put JackeyLove at his top 15 players list on our recent episode of The Last Hit. I saw a lot of people being like, yo, what is this pick? But JackeyLove's still trying to keep his name in the conversation. You know, if there's a man who can deal damage, it is JackeyLove.
You're exactly right. As we're going further now for top esports, Way caught out with a solar flare, depth charge, re-engage, and look at Lissandra in a choke. The frozen thralls at the ready. One goes down as JackeyLove as Xiaohu comes on in, and Lyric, the burst is insane from RNG.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Even Karsa here, he's just running to his own death. He has nowhere to go. It's kind of funny because even in their last series, I remember Karsa having to do this, so not an unfamiliar position for Karsa, but RNG, 6K gold up. They still have Rift Herald as well, right? So they can break down turrets wherever they want. They don't need it to break down bot side. We're going to see Cryin TP, and he should be able to push that one out. And for RNG, they're probably going to keep playing this 1-3-1 style that got them so much fame and so much success in spring at MSI. Start moving members over first when you're looking for those skirmishes, but yeah, really nice to see coming out from RNG. RNG bouncing back when both of these teams look shaky coming into spring, right? But I would argue that RNG did look shakier than top esports.
Absolutely. I mean, RNG was a cause for concern, not just because they wanted MSI, but because RNG as a team were just so good at playing through sides, playing through Xiaohu as well. Well, look at what happened mid, because Chains of Corruption misses, but look at the cooldown on Q and the max range to get Gala with the tip.
and we're just gonna see Ming going straight for the depth charge into the hook. Cryin, really nice flash to combo that up. The Diana brings everything together, and that's just cleaving Xiaohu off our screens getting involved. And this is why, even though RNG's struggling, and we highlighted that it is Xiaohu versus the world, I still think Ming is an incredible player, if not the best support in LPL, right? I think Mako's performing better right now for sure, especially in 2v2 laning. No one can beat Viper Mako.
Oh, they're insane.
Remember, bottom lane is a duo, so Ming and Gala, I don't think we're ever really known for that 2v2 dominance, right? Ming, much more about the map and team fighting and all these things. So good to see Ming also finding great impact in this fight. And, you know, if RNG can start stepping up again, jungle and support will always look better by default. And there it is, Hysterics.
Dude.
There's the RNG Baron.
It wasn't even 20 minutes and Baron's just sitting there wondering why it's getting hit. You talked about it. And RNG deliver onto the Baron straight away. QingTian will spot it out, but it's at 3k. 2k here. Karsa sets himself up with the equalizer, but Baron needs to be smited down. It's early!
What?
Way smited early in the equalizer. Got it! Top Esports have been given free Uber Eats. They'll get a pick on the back end, but way smited early under hardly any pressure.
I just don't know. I just don't know what to say. I don't. No one was close. It was just equalizer.
Oh my god. That's one of the worst miss smites I've ever seen. I feel sorry for Wei because after what's been such a great game, Wei to smite early on something like that is just horrible. Well,
I wonder how much damage the equalizer deals per second at this point. I still don't think that probably matters, but yeah, that is just unfortunate. That is so sad. But we're gonna go into the replay. Equalizer comes out. What does it get to? What does it get to? Oh, 944.
No.
Oh god, it hurts. Only 44 more damage.
Oh no.
Well, after that, because I honestly did not focus on this fight at all. I was too heartbroken for RNG losing that Baron, but it does seem like they got some kills. They are still 6k gold ahead, but had they gotten that Baron, it felt like that's the win for RNG, right? RNG pushes with Baron, RNG starts breaking down tier 2 structures, they get even further vision in the enemy jungle, they start finding picks, it is clean, but now we're, I feel like we're waiting another few minutes.
Even Shelly's tilted. She doesn't know what she's doing. Baron buff for a LeBlanc in the side lane. We're going to highlight that this is going to be a good thing for Top Esports. RNG had a massive lead. They had the Baron under their thumb, and it's stolen away inadvertently by Karsa's equalizer. And, you know, in all chat, I'd be typing, you know, do you know the way? And that would just kind of simmer in the salt into the wound. RNG at least going to get this dragon.
Like, right, like, I don't want to give him too much flack, right? Because he's had a good game so far.
He has. Again,
great Diana ultimates. Him and the team have moved around the map. That is more like, it's not like, hey, wait, you're bad. It's like, dude, that's just sad. That just hurts, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, 944. Maybe thinking, you know, like one more tick would hit and he'd be like smiting it right under, so that didn't happen. But RNG now, the thing is, I don't feel like RNG's comp has a lot of ways to break down any more turrets, right? They're extremely low range. They don't have like good siege potential. They have been pushing into the enemy jungle and getting vision, but Top Esports haven't been falling for it. Top Esports, as you can see on the minimap, you see Leona, Lissandra, Varus. They're all grouping up. They're walking in together. They're not giving any access for anything to go through. So RNG are kind of stuck in this position where it's push out sides, get deep vision in the enemy jungle, take away camps, maybe try to deny some farm, but you're really waiting for like an overstep from TES to be able to find a kill like that.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you can try to, you know, over push on one side, maybe with Xiaohu and try and go for like a dive on your other if you want to like go for real overextension, but I feel like something like that sounds extremely risky, so yeah, now Top Esports bought themselves solid few minutes.
Absolutely, and it's only a Cloud Soul as well, right? So you're not scared if a couple of these dragons go over to RNG too. You're dealing with a Cloud Soul, and you know they're probably like, well, maybe we'll be able to fight towards Elder anyway. So it feels pretty good here for TES. You've got a 7k gold lead still in RNG, but the game still in the balance in some way. And speaking of, trying to look towards the side lane, a ward there, excuse me, stuttering a little bit because I was wondering if Knight was going to get out, but of course he's the LeBlanc, and we'll just shift his way out. And Lyric, this dynamic, I mean, it's just interesting to watch this game from here because everything's slowed down after the play. And you're right, RNG just waiting for that mistake as they encroach in the jungle with a bit of their vision once again.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep looking for this over and over again. While Cryine's pushing outside, he's going to start rotating over right now. And I'm really surprised. We see a Gargoyle Stone Plate coming out for Xiaohu.
So far ahead.
Not really an item we ever saw, you know, like picked up. A really expensive item as well, I think, for, you know, it does have good stats, right? 60 armor and MR feels fantastic.
Yep.
It still has the active where you can, like, gain the shield and increase in size and all this other stuff. So Xiaohu going to be incredibly tanky, going to be a force to reckon with in team fights. And it seems like that's what he's going for, is to be able to survive longer, maybe get more damage off, be able to maybe stun maybe even, like, twice within one fight and set up his other carries. But, yeah, a bit surprised. To be fair, our top esports comp is also very burst heavy, right? LeBlanc, Rumble, Varus. So if you can survive that upfront burst, maybe Xiaohu just feeling really good that they will have more DPS in the long run if he can be able to survive that.
That bonus armor and MR per champion that targets you. And it is 6 seconds, right? So burst coming through after 6 seconds, that's all you need the stats for anyway. So it might be, you know, really smart optimization for the Croc that is about to flame Horizon over QingTian. He's had a great laning phase, he's had a great game, and despite RNG losing the Baron, remember that they're still ahead, partially because this top lane has been smacking on the new kid. You know, he's just joined the school, and it's bullying time, unfortunately. Xiaohu's had to show off the ropes and how things work around here. That's just the way it is, especially on this Croc. He's now so deep in the enemy jungle alongside with the rest of his team. The Solar Flare comes out, they've drew it from Zhuo, and that's an ulti, potentially, in front of the next Baron or the next play that RNG might try and force.
We've been talking about it for the last few minutes, but right, RNG's win condition this past, like, 5 minutes has been wait for next Baron to come up, go for that play again, hopefully smite better, or hopefully they, you know, all in us heavier to where we can get a deeper push in their base and maybe take an inhibitor and then have that to play around and, you know, synchronize waves around that to break open the base more and find more opportunities. So that's what RNG are doing right now. Again, to be fair to top esports haven't really given them any opportunities to punish, right? Top esports have been staying together. TES have been just staying in lanes, not walking through their jungle. If they don't see RNG on waves, they know what's going on. A lot of experience on this roster. They were LPL champions not too long ago, so never want to discredit them.
I love 2 LPL champions going head-to-head. RNG, obviously, with more status.
The 2 most recent LPL champions, too.
Very true. RNG, the team that we've looked forward to, is coming back, but now Zhuo walking into the river. Karsa's equalizer, absolutely beautiful. Xiaohu zoned away while the rest of his team is half burning. But there's the damage done. Remember, Solar Flare is back up and available after the short cooldown, but Karsa's not for the time being. Knight goes in on top of Gala, who's isolated. And RNG have taken a bit of damage to their health bars as JackeyLove continues to poke away.
Yeah, we saw right after kind of praising top esports, they did just kind of walking blindly to river. The thing they did correctly, right, is they're staying as a 5-man unit. So you're not giving any easy pick potential to the side of RNG. They have equalizer as well to try and dissuade the fight. So sure, you did lose some ultimates, right? Solar Flare going down, Equalizer going down, no flash on Leona, but you did burn some ultimates on the side of RNG, notably the Dominus. So RNG just going to default right back to taking the Drake. Looks like TS in the meantime, we're going to try and maybe clear out some vision in the topside jungle that RNG have been controlling, because now the Dragon's back down, we're going to go back to this topside dance, and we're gonna see what can happen. You know, I'm going to be very interested when we get to next patch, when we have new items, and specifically, what is it, Hull Breaker, and, you know, maybe, like, Split Push becoming more open, and maybe you could see a team like RNG punish harder with a comp like this by actually being able to deal damage to turrets in side lane, where right now, with how low range their comp is, and not really having any kill threat, I mean, Xiaohu doesn't really have any access to turrets unless someone's just not in that lane, like Knight hasn't been for the past 20 seconds.
I like that you talk about new items. Anathema's Chains as well there is going to be an interesting one to watch over. But yeah, as Baron starts, hey, RNG back on it again. Look at the ward in the back of the pit. I believe that's controlled for now, but RNG going to try it again here, Lyric.
Yeah, RNG going to look for this one. Xiaohu needs to recall before he TP.
Surely. Smite! Yes! Okay! RNG have done it this time, but can they finish the fight? Moonfall comes down as JackeyLove will get a kill on the back end, but RNG was actually the ones killing him. 3 down immediately with the Baron. Ming dropped in response, and Knight nowhere near the play.
Oh. And you know, I mean, the big problem for Knight is, right, look at RNG's composition. You're going to have a Renekton, Lissandra, Nautilus, and Diana all right on top of each other. as LeBlanc to your damage down, I'm going to slow down. Gala might...
You know he's going to die,
Gala's
don't you, Lyric?
Probably... He does have Cleanse and Flash.
Oh, but Way's in to save the day. He spotted out Night. Gala's like, oh, hello, thank you so much to the jungler. Killer Instinct available. He'll be able to catch up to this one. Flash over the wall. Gala's been waiting, but won't pop the ulti. Excuse me, it wasn't cooldown. And yeah, Xiaohu's just going to keep going.
Yeah, Xiaohu just going to push us in. Top Esports being forced back. But going back to my last point, right? As LeBlanc, your only real way of putting off good damage is jumping into the fray. You're jumping into like a Renekton's Dominus, Lissandra who can ult herself, maybe Moonfall's coming out from Diana and her shield and her damage. Like, there was really no... It's very hard for Knight to impact these fights, which is why we've seen him continuously try to angle for Gala and fight him before a fight happens and really make it a numbers advantage for the side of Top Esports. Sadly, wasn't able to do it last time around. RNG were able to pick up the Baron, even with Xiaohu coming in a bit later because he had to go for the recall. As we can see here, right, Xiaohu's going for the back, needs to TP in. Equalizer comes out, they are able to get the smite. A lot of damage comes down onto Ming to start that one off, but I love it right there. We see Wei and Gala in sync, jumping onto the enemy AD carry. Karsa left in an awkward place. Leona wasn't even here, and that just kind of left, like, scratching his like head of like, oh, what do I do? My AD carry instantly got bursted out.
Lyric, I'm going to pause because I see where QingTian is, but, I mean, none of his team's coming in. Top Esports aren't out of base, so... Okay, the 0-5 Lee Sid just going to stay there. This is like the ultimate flank.
I started to think this was Karsa because Karsa did this a ton last year, remember?
Yeah, he did.
He would sit in a brush for like 1 or 2 minutes to find that perfect flank angle. He's going.
Oh, Gala's going to be the target. Flash kick, but no, it's denied. He has flash available. I'm not sure what happened there, folks. Pause for a second as Wade goes in for the engage, but Top Esports have them split for the time being. Cryin with the AoE damage as well, but Karsa's burning him alive. This is a bit of a turnaround as Sonic Wave connects into the backline. 0-5 becomes 2-6 very quickly. As Top Esports, they still lose 4, RNG lose 3, and the base is wide open.
Yeah, I love Xiaohu just ignoring this, is just going to go for this. Cryin has TP up as well, so we can just TP back in, and I think they can end. Leona is going to be up in 17 seconds. Maybe they can defend, but Xiaohu's still incredibly strong right now. Cryin now full HP, has all of his cooldowns available other than ultimate. All
right, Nexus turret's an easy breeze then, right? Karsa coming through, 1 versus 2. They're going to dive it for the time being, but Cryin still has a lot of AP to AD turret conversion. And with the turrets going down, RNG just need to focus on the Nexus. Bit of respawn time is here as Equalizer lands. True, hang on, Lyric. Xiaohu needs to hit the Nexus, trying to kill Karsa instead. He's done it, and now for the Nexus, just hit it away. No backdoor, no return here for RNG, and they'll take away game 1 from Top Esports head.
I was getting a bit scared. I was getting flashbacks to game 2 of BLG versus W. I'm like, not again, but RNG able to pull it out. We saw, I think, some very good decision making. They got extremely strong from their individual lane matchups. Xiaohu especially, right, completely dominating QingTian up in that top lane. Cryin, despite, like, you know, falling slowly behind early on, it didn't matter because we saw the strength of Lissandra in this matchup. At one point, Knight W's in, he pops his W. Guess what? Other members of RNG are there. LeBlanc is just dead. Yeah. It almost got a bit unfortunate when Wade didn't hit that smite. It was sad, but it wasn't any cause for fear. As yeah, RNG overall having a good game, and especially Cryin, right? As the most heavily criticized member on this team, I'd say rightly so. It is amazing to see him come out, have a good game, get on a comfort pick, a pocket pick that he was known for last year, and just kind of show what it's all about. So the solo laners of RNG, I think, really being the standouts this time around. Yeah, it's weird to say.
Yeah, it is, because deflecting the blows from the bottom lane trading from Top Esports was something that made this game so good for RNG, right? Xiaohu dominated QingTian up in that top lane. Cryin as well was always in a solid fact and was playing around Wei or vice versa. I think it shows you that RNG are kind of getting back into the field, getting back into the feel of what this meta is, but more importantly, what LPL is. And against Top Esports in that first game, we saw a lot of blow for blow, right? You know, we go for the bottom side, all right, top side set up there. We get Herald as well. We continue that momentum into mid. And Xiaohu will pick up MVP for game 1 as well. So, was this a surprise? I don't think surprise. So. Flame Horizon, dude. Like, this guy absolutely dominated that lane.
Yeah, he definitely did, right? Showing up massively. I mean, he made QingTian look like a rookie, which QingTian is a rookie, so nothing necessarily wrong with that. You know, getting kind of beaten so hard by the most recent LPL and MSI champion. Still a bit disappointing on QingTian's side for sure, but I think Xiaohu just coming in strong this split. We hit on it a lot during the game that Xiaohu in their match against FPX, it was like Xiaohu versus Dwinby all series long. It was who can carry harder, and this guy once again coming in, bringing out the Gargoyle Stoneplate, maybe because of the mixed damage, the lack of crit on the side of top esports. Really interesting, was able to do his job quite well, and always got involved in the fray. We know this guy's the leader of the team, and again, just at this point, an absolute legend in the LPL.
Yeah, treasure for the LPL lyric. You said it the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's game one, though. We're going to go on a break, short break.